you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
Welcome, everyone, to the Golden State Media Concepts Health and Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Pauline, and this episode, I wanted to share some healthy foods and snacks, especially that will help you stay on track with your goals and things like that. And like I said, I spoke about this in a previous episode that during this winter time and the fall time and things like that, it's starting to get cooler and it's the holidays and things like that. And I did mention that I was going to give some tips for holiday foods and how to survive the holidays in a future episode, because I think that we should kind of wait on that until it's closer to the holidays. So probably sometime in November, I'll think of some things to share with you guys that will help me and some things that have helped me throughout in the past to stay on track. But anyways, so during the summer, people travel a lot, and we always talk about how to stay healthy on the go. We touched on one episode on how to consume protein powder on the go and to have your protein shakes and make it convenient for you to keep up with your whatever diet and lifestyle that you're on, to kind of make it a little bit easier and things like that. And I wanted to now... One of the reasons why I wanted to discuss this and things like that, I also wanted to give some benefits of other foods that sometimes we overlook, including beans. I don't know why beans get such a bad rep. I know that a lot of people feel like you shouldn't eat beans, but I'm going to tell you why you should and some of the benefits that come with eating legumes and things like that. But one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about these different foods and give some ideas on different snacks that you can consume on a regular basis if you want, or when you're going on a long trip, if you're vacationing, if you're traveling, or just for your kids, if you want to start making that transition and make that change also, not only for your own lifestyle, but for your home and for the people and your loved ones, is because I stumbled upon an article when I was researching and doing some things like that. And it's based upon a new statistic that has been put out by in regards to the United States. So here at home, it was put out by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Now, this actually just came out in September, so it's fairly recent. Okay, this is not like a study that came out. And I know that there's all these studies and all of these suggestions based on research. And then we hear that, this research was conducted in 2005 or 2010 even. But this actually is research that was put out just fairly recently, just about a month ago. And it stated that, according to the CDC, there is no state in the U.S. where less than 20% of the adults are obese. So in every single state, at least 20% of the adults are considered obese. Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, and West Virginia, over 35% are obese. Now, if you live in one of these states, I'm sure you can see it around you. It might be, some people like it just kind of depends on your location. It depends. I've always been told that, places like tropical places, they're not as obese because they're always in the water, but that's not true, clearly, because it looks like, according to the map, Florida, upwards of 30% of the adults are obese. So it doesn't really matter where you are. It just has to do with choices, and it has to just do with the nation as a whole. Like, this is something that us as a nation is facing. And I really believe it has a lot to do with convenience and things like that, because fast food is, for many people, considered to be more convenient, and it's more convenient and it's faster. On my commute to the studio, actually here, I pass a total of 6 McDonald's like on the way, and that's just like on my side of the street. And so to where it's like easy to just kind of pull in, pull out, and keep going type thing. Like, I wouldn't even have to cross the intersection and go to the other side of the street. So like really convenient. And that's just McDonald's here in Sacramento, at least on my commute to the studio from my house. And also there's Starbuckses, there are Jack in the Box, there's Carl's Jr. that I pass as well, and other places like that. So now obesity is considered having a body mass index of 30 or higher. And so now BMI, people have different ways of measuring your BMI and things like that. And there's like the old school way where you pinch certain places of your body, and you take the how much fat is hanging and things like that. And then there's also like body pods that have a more accurate representation. There's the one where you're standing in place and you hold on to the little handheld thing, kind of looks like a Game Boy almost, and then or like a Xbox controller, and then it shoots small electric waves to your body and things like that, and you could take your measurements that way. So there's multiple ways to check your BMI, but according to this study, like I said, so 20% of adults throughout the United States have a BMI of 30 or higher. And of course, this comes with the risks of heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, certain cancers. It affects your way of life sometimes for some of these people. For some of us who are obese and things like that, it may slow us down. We may not enjoy particular activities because we just don't want to, or for whatever reason. There's a variety of things that are affected by being overweight. And it's one of those things where you just want to make sure that you're healthy. And so in this episode, I wanted to share some snacks and things like that are convenient and easy to go, and that you can pack with you, that aren't too expensive, so that you don't have to stop by the fast food chain restaurant to pick up something quick off the dollar menu and be able to make healthier choices and things like that. Because I too myself have that problem. I admit it. There's 6 McDonald's on the way to on my way to work, and that's just the McDonald's and things like that. So all of us face these different temptations and different struggles. But I believe that if we have these convenient things that we prepare at home, then we don't have to stop through the drive-thru and things like that. And so I did want to share some healthy snacks. And one of my personal favorites is, and now people think that healthy snacks are going to be kind of boring, and they think that they don't taste good. Or if you are one of those people that enjoys just like a quick protein shake or something in between meals, then you get kind of tired of the protein shake if you always buy the same flavor. Like, people want variety and people want convenience. And so when we come back from this break, I'm going to share some of those with you guys to kind of mix it up and kind of give you some tips on how to broaden your horizon when it comes to these snacks and things like that. So you are listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Health and Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Pauline, and we will be right back. I want to talk to you today about compression gear. Compression gear is popular with professional and amateur athletes everywhere to prevent injuries and for helping heal injuries. Sleeves has the coolest collection of compression gear around. Sleeves carries sizes for women and men as well as kids. Get compression sleeves in over 200 designs to match your teammates and uniforms. Check out the huge selection of styles and sizes, or order something custom for your team at Sleeves. Get 20% off plus free shipping on purchases of $50 or more when you use the code HEALTHPODCAST. Visit Sleeves, that's spelled SLEEFS.com today. That's SLEEFS.com. Welcome back to the Golden State Media Concepts Health and Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Pauline, and I promised you guys that I would share some of my favorite snacks that are healthy, quick and easy, and add a little bit of variety to your daily routine. Because honestly, when I get it, because when I leave for my day, I leave early in the morning and I usually don't get back till, if I'm lucky, by dinner time, but sometimes even after dinner time. And so that's a long time to be away from home. That's a long time to be, I get hungry. I get really hungry. I'm always wanting to eat. And it's funny because even in the office, we always discuss that and things like that I'm always trying to munch on something. And so because of this, I have been trying to learn and trying to teach myself how to snack healthy. Now, it's always tempting, especially depending on where you work or if you go to school, whatever it is that you do throughout the day, or if you just stay home and you just are around and about running errands or whatever it is, enjoying your day. There's vending machines, there's fast food restaurants, there's all these different things that are tempting, and they're fast. They're easy because you don't have to prepare, you don't have to clean up or anything. But in the long run, like we already mentioned in the beginning, 20% of us adults are facing obesity situations. And so we have to kind of make better choices, especially if you're on the cusp of that, or if you are facing some of these diseases that are related, heart disease or type 2 diabetes, then, it's okay. There's never a wrong time to start, and little tweaks go a long way. And so one of my favorite, because you want to make sure that you don't spike up your blood sugar and things like that. And of course you want to eat the healthier. When I say healthy, I mean like real. So when you're eating fruits and things, you don't really want like a fruit cup that has been sitting in syrup or something like that, and it's in like a container and it's sitting on the shelf. You actually want things that can go bad, things that can expire, that haven't been overly processed and things like that. And so one cool thing is that hummus. Now, you can make hummus at home. I have a Vitamix blender, and my mom loves making homemade hummus. You get like the garbanzo beans and things like that. You can add in different spices so you can change up the flavor. I personally like plain hummus, and then you can dip anything you want in hummus. Basically, you can dip in carrots, you can dip in celery, peppers. It's really good and full of protein, so that helps you feel full. And you could really dip anything you want in it. Olives. I mean, people dip anything in hummus. You can also, of course, dip in a variety of like multigrain crackers and things like that. But like I said, carrots and hummus with some celery. And honestly, you can dip broccoli, you can dip cauliflower, you could dip whatever you want. You could make it spicy if you want to. You can add in pepper inside to make it spicy, red pepper, cayenne pepper if you would like. You could squirt lemon juice over it to give it kind of like a zesty zing. Honestly, you can do whatever you want with the hummus, and you can have that in veggies. So that's something that you can have at home. You can make it yourself. You can buy hummus as well. Like I said, we have that Vitamix blender, and it's fun. It's not too hard to deal with. You can make it with the garbanzo beans. We just Googled a recipe and things like that. So that's another way that you can do it. And you can have that at your desk when you're sitting at work, and you can kind of just munch on that. Another thing that is another great snack that's full of protein and calcium is Greek yogurt topped with berries. Like you can do whatever kind of berries that you want. Blueberries, blackberries. I guess if you're into that, you could chop up strawberries. You can even do, if you want, you could even add some you can add some honey. You can add chopped up bananas if you would like. You can freeze the bananas. You can have them chopped up and you can put them in the freezer, and you can add that to your yogurt as well. There's just ways to add some variety. You could even have just plain Greek yogurt and just have a little bit of honey over it, or and I know that some people like, again, because I had mentioned that this is my thing. I'm trying to stay away from dairy as much as possible. So, you can always just eat the berries. You don't have to have the yogurt element as well. Of course, there's another thing, whole grain crackers and cheese. You can also have cheese and apples. And I think it's funny that I'm giving all these suggestions that have to do with dairy when I personally try to stay away. But you can wrap lunch meat in cheese. You can wrap lunch meat and have your lunch meat rolled with cucumbers. You can also now this is kind of funny because you can also do cucumber sandwiches where you peel the cucumbers, or you don't have to peel the cucumbers if you don't want to, and you can chop them up so they're in slices, and you don't want them to be too thin, but you don't want them to be too thick, but just enough so you can put on there. You can cut up the deli meat if you have it, or whatever kind of meat that you would like, your source of protein. You can even add some hummus to the cucumber slices as well. And then you can kind of stack it with either cheese or with the meat, or you can also do it with other vegetables, and you can just make like a small, tiny, cute little cucumber sandwich. And those are kind of quick and fast, and they're refreshing because especially if you keep them in the refrigerator, then when you bite into it, it's really refreshing and cool. Another good and fun snack that you can enjoy is apples in almond butter. This is very high in fiber because the apple is very high in fiber, and then you get the good fats and fiber from the almond butter as well. You can make your own almond butter. Honestly, a lot of these things you can make at home if you're really nifty. People like me who aren't as nifty, I try different recipes, and I tried to make homemade, like the hummus wasn't too hard. So hummus we were able to do, and we were very proud of our hummus, and we were just hummus dipping people for a while there. But you can make almond butter. People make that a lot. Also, if you just want to enjoy like mixed nuts, the unsalted plain nuts, you can enjoy that, handfuls of that with your fruits, with your vegetables, to add that extra crunch, especially if that's something that you're wanting, and that can help keep you full. It has a lot of protein and fiber as well. Frozen bananas and peanut butter is another class act. A lot of people love that. And then also air popped popcorn. Now, if you're like me, I love popcorn. My personal favorite is when I go to the movie theater and I have a bucket, and I mean a bucket, of warm movie theater popcorn with movie theater butter and salt. That's one of my favorites. It's a guilty pleasure. But because we're trying to like steer away from that, there's a healthy alternative. And so you can have air popped popcorn, and you can add some garlic to it, Parmesan if you really want to, but it doesn't taste too bad by itself. And popcorn is actually a whole grain, so you get to get in some good fiber from that as well, without having all the added fats and salt and sugar that comes from the popcorn, like the calories and things like that from adding all those other additives into it if you just have plain air pop popcorn. And honestly, you can't knock it till you try it. You got to try it out first because it's really not that bad. And then also, honestly, for me, something that has helped make it more convenient and easier for me is when I prepare things the night before or way like in that morning for the evening. So when I have strawberries, because I'm a person that I don't like to bite into strawberries when I'm like out in public, because I'm always worried that it's going to get like stuck in my teeth, or I'm going to have like a strawberry seed in between my teeth or something like that. And just like, I don't know, I'm just weird like that. And so what I'll do is I'll slice up the strawberries. I'll mix it with blueberries. You can mix it with blackberries, any type of berries. You can mix it with bananas, apples, honestly, kiwi, whatever it is, and make kind of like a fruit salad. But I will, and what you can do instead is you can squirt lemon juice over. You can slice the lemon and you could squeeze it over the apples and things like that, and the different fruits if you want to make sure that they don't turn color and things like that. And you can keep it in a Tupperware container or keep it in a Ziploc bag if you are worried about room and convenience. And you can snack on that on your drive to or from work. If you want to have that as a snack at work, you can always use a fork if you want, or if you keep it in the Ziploc bag, you can just pop the berries in your mouth while you're driving, and it's really refreshing, and you don't feel guilty about it because you can eat as many fruits and vegetables as you want, and you don't feel bad. Like when you're eating a lot of broccoli and hummus, just tear it up, and it's a really good alternative, and you get that crunch and everything. And so those are some snacks that I really do enjoy. I also really enjoy just having deli meat sometimes for that quick that quick source of protein, and having like sliced rotisserie chicken or things like that with some berries and with some nuts just for a quick snack and some quick boost of protein. Hard-boiled eggs are another really quick and easy source of protein if you want to eat that on the go. I personally, when I have my hard-boiled eggs, I'll peel them at home and throw that away and then pop them in a Ziploc bag or pop them into a Tupperware container, so you don't even have to worry about peeling it or anything, and you can just bite it on the go. It's like 2 bites, you're ready to go. Well, maybe more than 2 bites. I don't know. I guess I'm telling on myself on how much I eat and like how I eat it, but so that's just another quick snack and alternative to always having protein shakes. Now, protein shakes are not bad, but again, you want to make sure that you're consuming as much as the natural sources of these nutrients and things like that as possible. And kind of, because protein shakes are good, and for what they're meant to do, they are, when used wisely, but you don't want to depend on protein shakes. You don't want that to be your only source of a snack, because then you get bored with that too. Even if you are drinking a variety of different flavored protein shakes, and you have to be careful because some protein shakes may not have as much protein as you think. You don't want to consume one that has more carbs and protein per serving. You want to make sure that it's low on sugar, because some of these have high honestly, I hate to say it, but a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, the better that the protein shake tastes, the sweeter it is, the more flavor, unless you are adding your own fruits and raw honey and coconut juice, whatever it is that you make your smoothies or your protein shakes and smoothies with. If the protein shake by itself mixed with water tastes great, it probably has a lot of sugar. I'm sorry. It probably does. And if you're trying to consume less sugar and you're trying to be more healthy, that's something that you really want to be aware of. And so a lot of times, that's why a lot of people, when they make their protein shakes, they add in all the different fruits and things like that. I sometimes do use coconut water, but coconut water does have a lot of carbs as well. So it kind of depends on what type of diet and lifestyle that works best for you. So we are going to cut it to a quick break, but when we come back, I wanted to discuss some cool benefits of legumes, because again, like I said, I feel like they're getting a bad rep, and I want to let you guys know that they're a great thing to add to your new lifestyle, especially if you're trying to make these changes. And if you're someone who has doubted the power of beans, maybe I'll be able to persuade you. So we will be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch, whatever it may be.
Welcome back to the Golden State Media Concepts Health and Wellness Podcast. Now, we are getting ready to wrap up this episode, but of course, like I promised, I am here to convert anti-bean lovers into bean lovers, and those of you who just may not be aware of the benefits of beans. Now, I personally love beans. I love garbanzo beans because I love hummus. I like beans on my taco salad. I like beans, like black beans. Black beans are my favorite. Like when I go to Chipotle and I get one of those like Chipotle salads. Now, a trick that I do instead is, instead of getting rice, I just ask for beans and corn. So, I mean, that's a way to kind of switch it up and make it a little bit more healthy if you're trying to switch out the carbs. But of course, I do have brown rice as well. But now, beans can be different. My grandma, when she makes rice, she adds a variety of like purple beans and things like that into our rice. And so we have like rice with our beans with our rice as well. You can people put beans in their burritos. If you enjoy burritos, you can have beans in there. But then there's also other ways to consume beans, such as bean soup. bean and vegetable soup, which is actually pretty good, and things like that. And so there's a variety of ways to enjoy beans, but I think that they are really underrated when it comes to the benefits that they present. Now, there are some diets that say not to eat beans and things like that, which, again, if you are either on a nutritionist or medical professional prescribed diet and they tell you not to consume beans for whatever your individual reason may be, don't consume beans. Always listen to what your doctor says, because of course each individual is different and all of our bodies are different, and the way that our body reacts, digests, and uses a variety of nutrients and foods will always vary. This is kind of more like of a general thing, something that I just enjoy and I think is really cool, because I know that there are some people that just don't give beans their props, I guess you could say. And so one way is that one benefit of beans is that they can actually help slow aging. Now, for some odd reason here in America, I don't know if it's throughout the entire world, because like I said, I've only been born and raised in the US and things like that. And so I haven't really had the chance to experience too much of the outside world as far as travel and getting their take on aging. But it seems kind of one of those things where people just don't want to age. There's songs about the fountain of youth. There are movies. There's books about obtaining eternal youth, immortality, and things like that. And for just some reason, people just don't want to age. So if you're one of those people, which is totally fine, beans can help slow aging. And it is because there is a ingredient that is in beans, like a nutrient that's in beans that can be found in bean, called resveratrol. Now, resveratrol is it's been studied. There's studies that have shown that it can prevent the DNA damage that leads to aging. Now, black beans and lentils are amongst the highest. They have the highest percentage of that, and so beans can help slow aging. Beans are powerful antioxidants. And so that can help with your immune system. It can help with the damage that occurs to our skin, because, skin is our biggest organ and it's our main defense against the elements of the world. And so it can help prevent this kind of damage. And it has just like a lot of antioxidants. And it's interesting because we think of certain antioxidants bearing foods like blueberries, turmeric, pomegranate, but beans actually have a lot more of that of antioxidants within them. And so beans with the highest amount of antioxidants include mung beans and aduki beans. So if you have ever tried that, or if you haven't tried it, there are a variety of ways to enjoy mung beans. Some people even eat mung beans with ice cream. It's not really my thing, but I know some people that really enjoy it. You can put them in drinks. I like it in drinks, so it kind of just depends on what you're into. Beans can also help lower your blood pressure. Some of those beans are pinto beans, northern beans, peas, and black beans. It helps to improve your blood pressure and actually lower your blood pressure. So that's another interesting thing that by adding beans to your diets, that's something that can help you. They can also help lower cholesterol. There have been studies shown that just consuming one serving of beans a day can decrease your risk of heart disease by up to 25%. And then also because beans contain a lot of fiber and have a lot of protein in them as well. They're a good source of protein. They can help with reducing your cravings. So if you want a different snack to eat instead, so if you want to, just have beans with your hummus, you can have beans with your hummus. You can have beans on top of your salad. You can have bean soup. Again, like I said, you can fry beans. I don't really think refried beans would contain a lot of those nutrients because it would be lost in the refrying process. But then if you want to boil beans and things like that, you want to have soup. There's different ways to consume beans. And so that's just my thing. So it helps with anti-aging. It can help lower your cholesterol as well as your blood pressure. It reduces cravings, which again may help lead to weight loss because you're not eating as much because you feel more full longer. And it helps with also improving your energy production. So the amount of energy that your body needs and the way that it consumes energy and processes energy is another positive benefit from beans. And so that's going to do it for this episode. Like I said, beans, I don't know, you can kind of let me know how you enjoy your beans. And if you have like a multigrain cracker, then you can like kind of dip your cracker in like a bean soup. I think that would sound kind of good. Or I just like beans being really spicy. You could make a really healthy chili with a variety of beans. I don't know why some people think that chili is really not that good for you, but if you use wholesome ingredients and you make it at home and you make it from scratch, you can avoid some of the other things that are put into canned chili or chili that you buy at the store or frozen chili and things like that. And so that's going to do it for this episode of the Health and Wellness Podcast. You can listen to all episodes on our network website. That's GSMcpodcast.com, as well as on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. I'm your host, Pauline, and I will talk to you next time.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Health and Wellness Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMc to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.